Hi, this is Kristi from birdmentor.com, where I teach advanced skills to beginning birders, and thanks for joining me today. So in honor of Thanksgiving, I wanted to take just a little bit of time and tell a story about the magnificent wild turkey. Now, think for just a moment about your experience with the wild turkey, if you have any. Where do you notice that it spends the majority of its day? Feeding on the ground, right? Exactly. So that's why I thought it was kind of strange when about 8 months ago I was out for a walk and I noticed a flock of turkeys clucking kind of loud high up in a ponderosa pine tree. Now I know that they roost up there at night, but to find them there in the middle of the day seemed kind of odd to me. What do you think might have caused that flock of turkeys to step outside of their norm or their baseline behavior? Well, before I answer that, I want to take just a moment to talk about baseline height ranges, which is something that I teach in the Bird Mentor course. Now, most birds have a range or a zone where they feel most comfortable in and where they spend most of their day. So I've identified 7 different baseline height ranges for birds. To begin with, we have the water level. Then from there we go not too far up, we have the ground level, and then it's the shrub, that's about 1 to 5 feet high. And then from there, a little bit higher off the ground, that's low tree, and that's 5 to 20 feet. And then from there, mid tree, that's 20 to 40 feet. And then from there, it's the treetop, about 40 to 150 feet. And the last level is above treetop, so 150 feet or above. Now think about the wren for a minute. Where do you typically hear the wren singing? The wren's usually in that shrub zone, right? Shrub or kind of maybe near the ground, even up a little bit higher. Now these zones can be pretty fluid. If you think about the jay for a moment, the jay can be anywhere from ground level all the way up to treetop, right? Or the junco. The junco can be from the ground level to, let's say, like mid-tree. This concept is important to know because when you see a bird outside of its baseline height range, that usually means that something is up, and typically the danger is near. Now, this is because conservation of energy is essential to our feathered friends, and they won't leave their comfort zone unless they must. So in the case of the turkeys that I told you about earlier, I pulled out my binoculars that are always with me when I go for a walk, and I was actually across a ravine from where that ponderosa pine tree was. I could hear them clucking pretty loudly, and they were distressed. And so I looked to see where they were looking, and I noticed that down on the ground there were 2 coyotes trotting by. So the birds will tell you what is happening in the forest if you know how to listen. So take a moment if you could and share with me in the comment section below one of your stories of when you might have noticed a bird that was outside of its normal baseline height range and what was happening there. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel, and if you're on Twitter or Facebook, go ahead and like Bird Mentor there. And otherwise, I will see you next week. Thanks for joining me.